Quick story. A girl and a guy met and fall for each other. They both love music, so decide to work together. And they were pretty good at it. Now on the surface, everything looked perfect. But oh, the stress of the city. So they decided otherwise. They packed up and left for the countryside. And that's where we meet this family, raising their children, growing their own food and their business together, on a quest to find a new normal and a new sense of happiness. And if you're looking for the same thing, then join us and we can unpack this thing called life together. Where are my manners? Let me introduce myself. I'm Shamel Olwago, my husband's Amondi Olwago, and together we are Nile Ochi. And this is Quest. Today's philosophical chop up is, have we become less happy in this age of technology? Your thoughts?
For some of us, yeah.
Who of us are happier?
Well, I think the one that are happier is the one of thriving through this, new age.
Who are the ones that are thriving through this new age?
Well, the startup, they're doing well. Fine. I'm not even talking about the personal life, but I'm thinking in relation to how you're doing, in this new technological world. So if you do professionally speaking, definitely the one that's thriving, the one that figure out this whole entire
algorithm
metrics and how to meander through it. I think they're doing very well for themselves and very happy. And then you got a whole bunch of people who are unhappy because they haven't figured this out. They're probably going to lose their job or on the way to lose their job, and they're like, what am I going to do? I don't know half of these things. And and then comes down to relationship. I think it's been highly intrusive, and I think people have lost the sense of intimacy, because now anything is a reason to do something else. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna be have to be in the room with someone, you can bet someone's about to have the attention taken away by the phone or something else.
And that's the end of our podcast. Today we have you basically said most of the things. Can we deep dive?
Hold on a minute. I'll just give my humble opinion. Now I'm looking for you to tell me what you think about this, because you brought it up. So what do you think about
Do I think that humans are less happy? Maybe. But there's different things to be unhappy about in every century. One century it's going to be, poverty. Well, poverty seems to be a theme that runs through every century that depresses people.
Hasn't changed that much.
No, poverty is definitely a theme that they like to bring back again. It's like,
Steady.
This century. Okay.
Yeah.
But technology, just as technology, I think that it's brought so many good things into people's lives. It's not just fair to look at what's bad about it, because can it all be blamed on, can everything bad that makes people unhappy in this modern age be blamed on technology though?
No, absolutely no. But look how uncertain everything has been.
Is that because of policies that have been made despite technology, or is that because of technology?
It's directly linked to technology. It's the only way technology keep running the way it does. If you've got to have suffering somewhere.
You think so?
Yeah. Let's not even pretend that there is no all of this is free. It's not free. It's not just in money. It's in the cost of getting this technology to keep going. It's rare is the technology that are sustainable today. To say that it can run by itself and it's not going to be at the detriment of millions of people. It's always
when you're saying the detriment, what do you mean? Do you mean, are you talking about content? Are you talking about the use of everyone else's content? Are you talking about free content? What are you talking about?
I'm talking, alright, do you want to make a new technology today? What's going to be your technology? Depends. Now, 5G, for instance, everyone talks about 5G, but the number one problem with 5G, unlike what people think about, this is the reason why the coronavirus, kills so many people because the 5G. No, that's not the first problem. The first problem is actually the environment. In order for you to even get 5G, even though we still, in some areas, we still don't even have the optical fiber. We, barely have internet, barely have 4G anyway.
Yeah.
And there we are with 5G because someone's got to make their happiness work for them.
Yeah.
He's got to have this, so the money has to say some things and their company has to say something.
Yeah.
And in the meanwhile, we have to figure out how we're gonna be dependent in other countries, because in order to get this technology working, we need this country to sell us the goods.
Yeah.
That doesn't even sound like even a good plan. But yeah, it's technology. Things will be faster, better.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think like we know that there's good side to technology, but I think it's the reason why there's so much unhappiness, because through technology, cost has gone higher, the cost of life has gone higher.
Yeah.
People, as a result, there's more suicides.
Do you think that it's because of technology the cost of life has gone higher?
Yeah.
What is the direct result of that?
Well, technology has replaced a lot of jobs.
Yeah, but then that's do you think that that's pushed up the cost of life, or don't you think that that's just the traders pricing up everything?
I think it's both. I think as technology as technology arises, then you have a reason to pump up the cost of life. There is a lot of pretext in doing so.
True. Yeah.
Well, that's my opinion about it. I think that, yeah.
Well, then there's nothing to chop up then, because we could both agree that it makes people unhappy. But then what about the good side? What about people who found love online? What about people who have used technology in order to help them communicate with the rest of the world, i.e. people who have either like a disability for hearing or seeing or being able to communicate verbally, and they've been able to use technology in order to do that?
But admitting that technology is the source of love and happiness, sorry, doesn't mean that everything is bad in it. It's identifying that we have a problem with technology, and there is a correlation between technology and people be unhappy. But also within this, like you just mentioned, yeah, of course, people got to be able to communicate with loved ones that they would never been able to communicate with on a daily basis. Yeah, of course, there's good stuff. It wouldn't be sellable otherwise.
True.
So much misery attached to it wouldn't be able to be sellable otherwise.
True.
You need good points in order to dissimulate misery. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And happiness and etc. It's only one side of the coins that you're seeing. But do you think that it's possible to live in a world where we can have equally? Do you think as humans we are able to have that, like technology and happiness at the same times across the board? Related to it, like where technology do make us happy and there's no downside to it.
There's always going to be a downside to everything.
And why do you think is that?
Because that's the nature of things. Because it's like, it's like a knife. You could use a knife as a weapon, but you could use a knife to chop up food and feed yourself.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It depends it depends in whose hands the technology is.
So you think that it's still down to our own decisions, like we can choose to make it good or bad?
Yeah, I think that
individually, or do you think it's certain people in power can choose this, or do you think individually we can?
I think that we would.
Change?
I would like to believe that we can individually make that change, but a lot of change that comes about for individuals, whether they'd like to admit it or not, are based on policies that have already been made. So I believe that it has to start with policies.
Okay, because all right, for instance, streaming, right? We musician, we're in the music industry. Now we know that it's not really plausible for someone to hope to make a living through streaming their music. Yeah. Unless you stream an enormous amount of music, which that is not easy to do by itself. Yeah. So how do you feel about this technology? Because it's a new technology at the end of the day, streaming. What's your opinion on is there's good side to it, or it's only one-sided?
I think it's become one-sided.
Do you think originally it wasn't one-sided?
Originally it was one-sided, and it's just got popular. Because and the reason why I'm saying it is because as a consumer, I'm thinking this is a great thing. Yeah. Okay. You know, because we were from the generation who used to go to HMV, I was little at the time, but I used to love going into the record store and then listening to CDs and seeing what's kind of going to be on import, and then you order the album and you get it early, and then you play it, and then you have a CD, and maybe your friend has the CD, and then they give you a tape of the CD. Listen, and that was considered piracy in its highest form.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
What? You got a CD? You get a tape of the CD? Yeah. To your friend?
Yeah, I remember.
All right.
Bootleg in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And were you kind of criminalized for even copying it for your friend?
Yeah. Yeah. You had to be careful.
Yeah. And yes, there were bootleggers, people who are clearly just doing it on CD level and then trying to resell it. But I'm just talking about, P2P, you know? Yeah. But back then I felt like, wow, my mum's giving me £20 for the week. I'm just barely scraping this to just buy one CD. And I remember complaining about the prices, like, wow, these CDs are expensive. And then when people used to only put 9 tracks on their album, I used to be like, Jesus, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes and trust me, it wasn't a $9.99 days. Yeah. It was $16.99 or $24.99 for imports.
Yeah, true.
And that used to just burn through your pocket. And then when you get people around your house certain times who take a CD from you.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Remember when people used to take CDs from people?
I yeah, I do.
Oh my God, someone's still out there with my Set It Off.
Yeah.
With my Set It Off soundtrack.
You were the type of person.
Or you weren't.
Or you won't. I'm sorry, but that's
I know, I just wasn't that type of person.
Like us, we used to go and buy CDs. And then some people, they're like, I don't need to buy a CD. Because all I'm going to do is nick one from that person's house. That was something else. Yeah, I remember
despicable.
That. Yeah.
Despicable. Anyway, so that was my thing, yeah? So then I understood that when the Napster came in, when all of those P2P came in, it was like, wow, finally, we got something as consumers. Yeah. And as far as the injustice of the pricing and the fact that it was...
Did you feel that way about it?
Yeah, I did.
When Napsters and all that, because you remember we had this thing,
but don't forget
LimeWire, what was one of the things you were downloading illegally music from it. Was like some sort of I don't remember how it worked.
It was peer-to-peer though, so it wasn't really. It was somebody who originally bought it sharing it with their friends. Basically. Okay, which we all knew was illegal because they wouldn't even like you doing that on a tape. No,
but then, okay.
People have always wanted free, replayable music, and I'll tell you why. Because remember back in the day where the radio used to record the radio.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
If a good DJ set was on, you'd record. I don't know. Did you all used to do that in France?
Yeah, of course.
You record the DJ set. You're like, I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the whole thing.
That's it.
Right?
I remember. Yeah. I remember.
So my thing is, as a consumer, great, wonderful, free, amazing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially if I ain't got coins to be saying I've got this amount of coins to be dedicating to each of my favorite artists.
But then
that's why loyalty was a bit higher back then, because you had to put down funds in order to be able to support certain people.
But were you happy then?
Yeah.
Because are you that happy now because now technology's moved on, you can get music, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But do you feel the same contentment, like the same happiness
No.
towards getting that music?
No.
Even though back then the technology was more backwards and it was more expensive and you couldn't get music like that and you had to get it as a physical form, you were happier then, right?
Yeah.
And how is that?
I used to love, this is me and me being nostalgic, and I don't know if other people can relate, but I used to love the going into the shop, the listening to the different tunes, the whole experience, the person, and if it's on import, the person going around the back, getting that CD, putting it in the player, and you just standing there with headphones.
Yeah.
And then somebody else is standing there with headphones listening to something, and sometimes you catch them listening and you kind of can spark off a conversation like, yeah, is that good? Yeah, what's that? Yeah. All right then, okay. You see what I'm saying? Like, it was a whole thing. And then you used to go and buy the CD and then you used to take it home.
But then you know what's funny?
Yeah. And then you used to read the inside, the thanks.
Why?
And then see who did what and who wrote that song and oh my God, that's the same person who did this song. Oh my God, they did that too. And it was like a whole thing. But now it's like, it actually gives me a bit of anxiety to go through playlists now. Like, just, I'll only stop if I hear something.
It's easy to go through the playlist now, right?
No, it's not.
Is it not?
No, because there's so much.
So technology, would you say that technology has diminished the meaning?
It's just desensitized me because of the format it's in. So it's desensitized me to take in the artist. It's like it's whitewashed the artist.
So
because now everything comes in a black and green format.
So what about who? I mean, what was good then? Like
the fact that if you got some
new technology in regards to music, for instance.
What do you mean?
Like, what are the good sides? Or the today's new technology in regards to music?
I would say the format of the MP3 allowed us to be able to put down our Walkman, which were quite bulky, but I still used to rock. But now, if I go out and, if I go for a bike ride, I could take my iPod.
So it's more.
It's the practicality of being able to travel with your music.
But would you say that because we are talking about technology making us happier?
Yeah.
I guess it should be the case, right?
It should be the case that we're happier, but I'm just not. Not with that side of things. I feel like something's kind of been taken away from me. Because also, if you remember, the cover and everything was like an opportunity for the artist, for then you to again learn about the artist.
Maybe that as you get less, you get more. The
artwork.
More. Yeah.
What artwork are they going to pick? What pictures are they going to put inside?
Yeah, I do remember. I remember, like, clearly they used to have like amazing artwork inside, and you used to open
and certain
the
artists
sleeve,
didn't used to have no
and you
artwork
had-
inside.
yeah,
It was just
a thing.
some people
It
used
was
to
like
do their own
proper.
handwriting.
Yeah.
Some other people used to. It was like it was more insight into the artist.
Yeah, it was proper. I remember, like, if you were willing to put down like 30 euros, 30 pounds, whatever, currency that is, you like the actual artwork in there was amazing. Limited editions.
Yeah,
was
well,
limited
I never had
editions.
limited edition money, but I was
No, but
really
I'm just
impressed
saying,
with
if you
just
were
the box
willing to,
standard.
you've
Yeah,
seen limited
yeah, of
editions.
course.
You've been to someone's house and be like,
Oh my God, where did you get
where
that
did you
from?
get that? Oh,
Yeah,
it's the limited editions on an import.
yeah,
And you were like,
And you were
what
like,
do you mean on an
ah.
import? Well, you can't get it like that. Like, it's just
Yeah.
an import, innit?
yeah.
Didn't mean much to us. We knew it was just an import, which means that some things is more expensive, better, and you can't get.
Yeah,
But
that was the side of it that I kind of lost that part of it, which is, but then if you see there's a human need to travel back to that because vinyls are picking up again. And I believe that fundamentally that's what's loved about vinyls.
Yes, definitely. It's a physical
Outside
side
of the fact that the obvious fact of the sound.
But now if we have to correlate this to being unhappy or not happier, do you think there is a direct link? Just when you talk, just music alone, do you think there's a direct link to that with this or no?
Yeah, because it's too much choice.
In that consumer's behavior.
Too much choice. And whereas before you could argue that there wasn't enough choice, wasn't enough variety, which was true. See, this is the problem. You can't kind of it would be unfair of me to get down and say, oh yeah, but they ruined a perfectly good industry. No, the industry was flawed deeply before.
Yeah, it was.
But it's like, yeah, we're going to fix this, but then we're going to fix it with something else that's just as flawed, but in another way.
But don't you think it shows that maybe because we had a lot less choices? I mean, it's like to get MTV, period.
Yeah.
Like, you had to be a certain type of person back then. And if you had access to MTV, even for like an hour, it used to be everything.
I can't tell you. Listen, my grandma used to live in White City, and then we used to go to her every weekend, and she was one of the first people to get cable. And when she got cable, we got Oprah, we got Sally Jesse Raphael, we got Ricky Lake, and we had all of the music channels. Like, all of them. And we were glued from the start, because everything that everyone with all these radio stations were talking about, sometimes we used to get the drop before then.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So imagine Missy Elliott's BET was there, and Missy Elliott's new song is coming out this Thursday. We are seeing it this Thursday.
But
amazing.
Then there was a high appreciation thing.
High. And then it was 2 years before I got cable in my area.
So do you think that contributes to happiness?
It did.
When
it was
things are harder, you then finally get things, you're happier.
Listen.
And as technology make things maybe easier, you
lack appreciation for it. And it's another thing as well. I think it's also like what it took to make music back then and what it takes now, because of how different it is. Yes, it opened the industry up to so many people who would not have been able to access it, who still had so much talent and so much to offer the industry.
Yeah.
That is definitely a fact of where technology has worked well for people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just logistically. And then there's the other side of it where it's just like, there's so much now access, we hardly appreciate what it takes still. We're under the assumption that it's still that it takes nothing now. But anyone could do it. And in actual physical fact, anybody can do it. But in musical skill, in artistic, integrity, no. It would be disrespectful to everybody who's really in this seriously.
Yeah.
No, everybody can't do it. It's like, you know, anybody could be. It's like saying anybody could be a gamer.
Yeah, I understand.
I guess you could say that, but no.
But then, do you think that we because we're only talking right now about the music industry, but do you
it's
think
permeated throughout where technology goes in life?
Do you think the same thing that we're experiencing now, it's across?
It's permeated wherever the technology is touched, has suffered the same fate. There's been such a good side as far as allowing those who could not have access to have access.
Maybe it went too fast. Maybe what happened is like we went from not a lot to a sea of things.
It did go fast.
And I think maybe that's what the problem is. So we didn't have time to even adapt. Our mind didn't have time to adapt, and perhaps is why we not. I don't feel people are that happy. And
do you think our minds needed to adapt, or do you think that the government needed to adapt? Because this is what I believe. As this consumer, we don't decide what's coming out next. We can try and you know, give our opinion to the producers of these things, what we'd like or what we don't like, but they've already got things in the making.
Yeah, of course.
And they get signed off okay or not, depending on if the government's like, okay, you can take that new technology out, or nah, because this is not, you know, this is in competition with this person, so wait until this year and blah blah blah. So you see some of this stuff coming as a government.
Yeah.
When you saw video phone coming out, you didn't think we're going to need to make a rule that kind of handles some video phone fallout.
Yeah. Well,
you see what I'm saying?
Well, I think, you know what it is? I think, like we said, I think it went really fast. And I don't think they had time to react. I think that even the people who created this technology, I mean, you know, you can go on internet, even, you know, a lot of those guys that actually took part in it, they didn't foresee what's happening now, because there is a problem in the society right now. People are really not as happy as they should be, and even though they've got more, or it seems that they've got more, but in turn, I think they've got less. I think you end up with I think it's only a small part of the populations, like I said, that thrive enormously on that.
Yeah.
And then majority of people don't. They feel very insecure, and on different level, even on like a physical level, all the way up to a financial level, you know.
Yeah.
And all the way up to an identity crisis where they
where do I fit?
Where do I fit? Who am I? What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? Whatever, like, you know, thing like that. I think it contributed enormously to this.
I think you're right in saying that, but the sad thing is, I just don't think it's deliberate. I don't think it happened deliberately. I think that's what happens when only a small amount of people get to decide one thing.
Yeah.
It's this common sense committee thing I was talking about with this space expedition.
Yeah.
Somebody needed to step in and say, because I could have told them from yonks about video phone. I was like, well, this is going to be a disaster, because I'll tell you right now, if you allow and I'll tell you why. Because you remember when photos started coming on the phone, cameras started being on the phone.
Yeah.
You couldn't get video, but you could just take pictures.
Yeah, I remember that,
Yeah, and I think the first videos were like just 10 seconds long or something like that. Yeah. It was like really, really short.
Yeah.
And people were taking pictures willy-nilly. And it got to the point where it was like you could take a picture anywhere. Back in the day, even if you were a tourist, you used to pick and choose where you would take pictures.
Yeah,
you just wouldn't. You wouldn't bust a photo like in the middle of a packed train or whatever. But as soon as we got it on our camera, no one cared.
People started taking pictures of anybody without asking their permission.
Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, it was a bit crazy. I understand. I remember.
if had any of these technology people, technology developers called me, I was available. I would have said, this is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
You're going to have to make some sort of regulation with whatever government that you're doing to make a rule, because if not, you're going to be at the source of a lot of anguish. Yeah. And in a couple of years down the line, it's going to turn around and bite you as an industry.
I mean, I think that there's a list long of things that happen because of technology.
But then...
even like, because you got one side where you've got like how the technology are made, which causes a problem in the world, different problems.
Right.
To the other side,
how it's produced,
how people feel about it, the experience maybe during high school, the high school experience, and what technology was for them, and how did it play a role in maybe their lives.
But some people have found the love of their life through technology.
That's true.
They really have.
Some people, and then other people got catfish.
And then others have got, so many have got catfished.
Catfished
badly. And then so many people have been revenge porned.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
It's still not illegal to catfish anybody, and it's still not illegal to do revenge porn on people yet.
Yeah.
Why aren't we catching up with these things?
I think, like we said, I think it went so fast that they didn't really have time to figure this thing out, and it was much money involved for them to just decide, let's pause everything and let's fix this and that and that. I think that they didn't do it because it wasn't.
The thing is, there'll be an
viable for them.
There'll be an unraveling if they don't nip this in the bud. When are you going to get it together? I think that this generation, because when you're in school and you're learning about the histories and you're saying, okay, this is the industrial revolution here, this is the other, you know what I mean? This is the technological revolution. Who would have thought we'd live through another revolution? But
true, yeah.
Here we are, and we're smack bang in the middle of it. And like every revolution, you have to actually, the ease and the flow and the adaptability has always been down to how active the government are on regulating it. As unregulated, the more unregulated it is, the more misery it is. I mean, I think the other day they did a breakup of the Big Four. They've, in America, the Senate has decided to do a big breakup. So there's like going to be they're going to have to cut down how many times that they're crossing over paths when it comes to, okay, so you're going to sell them this, and then I'm going to, because they got the monopoly on everybody's life.
Yeah, true.
Between Amazon, Google, and Facebook, they've got a monopoly on people's life.
Yeah, it's around the world,
and they've been allowed to.
But you know what? There's another thing as well. Like I was thinking, because I'm like, even do you remember when we used to say in regards to the camera, when the phone, like you say, because you mentioned earlier that we used to be able to just take pictures, and then we moved on to videos. Yeah. And I just was thinking about how intrusive we felt back then. Like how intrusive that felt to us back then. Do you remember? Like, oh wow, I've got a camera now, and then you say that, I'm sure that they can watch us now. I
did. I said it from the start.
And remember how people reacted to that?
They said I was mad.
Say, you're overreacting.
They were like, I'm over. This is Shem being dramatical again, isn't it?
And like you said, now they're trying to dismantle those, the big four, basically, and because they've got too much power. But I think it's the same things. You're going to have people who see it way before everyone else, because you could have, I could have told you that when Google, and a long time ago, I knew that was going to be a problem. Amazon all those big companies starting, being the only one there already.
The thing is,
nobody was able to even compete with them, and still up to today now, you can't compete with them.
If you see something coming and you, especially like a potential business, and it's making that much money and it's making other people rich as well, because as much as Amazon has made itself money, it's also enabled so many people around the world to be able to run successful businesses. You know what I mean? Off of it.
Yeah, off of it.
So I'm not, as I said, it's not all
enough.
bad.
But not enough people. The thing is,
it just doesn't take away
what it is. You realize very quickly, not only those people who run successful business from it, they are subjected to the algorithm, which means overnight they actually can lose their businesses.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah.
And then now, if you're trying to get in right now, you're too late. You're really too late.
Yeah.
So in what? In not even 10 years.
See, this is the thing. And then who does that benefit now?
Right.
And I think that alone, the idea of it, the idea that there is just a fast closing door, has everybody anxious. You see what I'm saying?
Very. It's got me anxious. I'm anxious about it. I always feel like
it's got me hella anxious. Like, do I jump on this now? Like, if I don't jump on,
get a chance to.
and social media is so good at making you feel the urgency to join.
Yeah, but because the thing is,
if you don't get in there now, then when you post, you're not going to have any relevancy. You're just going to and it's like.
But that's the thing. Like, you knew already when the camera came on the phone, and we didn't have smartphone then. It wasn't even called a smartphone then.
No, because it wasn't.
Knew back then, is this going to be a problem?
I said, this is going to be a problem, because when you used to call someone, you used to butt call someone.
Yeah.
I thought, butt calling someone plus a camera, someone's going to get a text that they shouldn't get. That was my thinking. And then I thought, if somebody could, well, then the thing is, I'm deeply into sci-fi. I am deeply into spy films. So I was already like, this is a spy tool. That's it.
But my point is, you knew already back then, and what was everybody's reaction?
You're overreacting.
Man, come on. What are you talking about?
No, they laughed at me and they said I'm overreacting. This is Shem being... Yeah. She's being she's shamed being Shem.
Double O what?
Double O, whatever you want, isn't it?
Double O Shem. And you know what?
But then what did I do? I stuck a sticker on it.
You know when you're chasing you tell?
I stuck a sticker on it. I am that person who you look at my phone looks a mess, but I've got a sticker on the camera. Everyone always asks me, what is that? And then they slowly realize what it is, and then they look at me like, oh, girl.
And 3 years later, they were selling stickers on Amazon. Do you remember?
You can get stickers now on Amazon that are made for that. So it looks like a little peephole, and you can open and shut it. So you don't have to keep on re-sticking a sticker if you're a sticker person. You don't have to keep on re-sticking a fresh sticker. You just stick it once, and then you can open and shut access to your camera lens. And at any given time, I mean, most of the time, people use their phone on the toilet.
Yeah.
We don't want any shots of that getting out to the
public.
To the public.
But look, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's like chasing your tail. Like right now, with all this technology, now if you take a moment and you see what's going on, by the time they're trying to dismantle the force, like they like to call it, how are you going to go about it?
I think that they're going
too late.
This is the thing, and now you're going to have, and now you're going to find yourself having to take some stuff away that are actually of benefit to people.
Exactly.
Just to make it in time to fix what's so bad about it. Because then, as far as cameras on the phone, it's been able to be witness to so many people without voices, and so many people who are not necessarily going to be believed. So many black people who have been gone through things that are totally old to us as a community, but so brand new to everybody else and so unbelievable. Oh my God, I think you're overreacting. No, that couldn't possibly happen. Now we got receipts.
Yeah. So
you see what I'm saying? And that has just done wonders. The receipts of it all. Yeah. And unfortunately, people have had to die on camera in front of people in order for people to even believe it was real.
And then still it's not a sure win.
And it's still not a sure win.
So I'm like, okay.
But guess what life was like before we had it? Guess what life was like before we had it?
Yeah.
You just used to be just dead.
Yeah.
Unheard of, forgotten, not even like as if you never existed at all.
So
as far as that's concerned, absolute plus side.
But then
you've also got people who make it their business to go and take a picture of up anybody's skirt.
Yeah.
You've also got people.
Yeah,
that's a thing.
Is it Korea? There's a documentary about this.
Yeah.
When they actually set cameras in bedrooms in hotels. Motels.
Yeah.
Anywhere actually.
In motels.
In the toilets and we already decided.
In your motel room.
There. We're not sleeping in the hotel down there. Absolutely not. And actually,
you know what? It's really sad because there's probably places who properly because now hotels are used to it. They've made it their business to scan for cameras so that their guests don't have to go through this.
We're actually going to put the link below. For people to actually check it,
because honestly, check out the documentary.
It's crazy. It's scary. That's scary. And
it was totally scary. I think the lady found about 30 different cameras in the room, and I was like, 30?
It's mad. It's mad.
And I was just like,
no, it's just terrible.
And see, if somebody caught up with revenge porn and make it a policy against that was strong enough and penalize people enough for taking something that was supposed to be a private moment and non-consensually released it to the world, then this wouldn't be so lucrative.
Yeah.
But it's only so lucrative. You have to make things not worth it.
For it not to happen.
But it's still worth it. That's why it's happening.
Yeah. But it's not really punished anyway.
No. So because as far as they're concerned, well, good on the man, and that lady, she was asking for it.
That's assuming it's actually, it's funny when I say that because it's like assuming that it's always going to be that way, that it's never going to change. There's only going to be a woman that's going to be a victim of this type of things. Listen, when it comes to technology, if one thing you can bet, it can be anybody. It can
everyone can get
be affected.
Yeah.
And even if it's if it's not you personally, it might be your daughter, it might be your wife, it might be. So either way.
But this is the problem. We have come into this new technological revolution with the same old ideals from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Which highly misogynist, deeply systematically racist, homophobic, everything discriminatory we were doing in buckets. And then we said, here, have a phone with a camera on it. And we thought this was going to go well.
Too much power. Do you remember what you had to do? Do you remember what you had to do when you had those disposable cameras?
Oh.
The thing. You used to take a picture. Hoping one was going to be alright.
And then I actually still remember, the camera guy I used to always go to right on the main road. And I just remember going down there and just giving him my disposable camera, and he's like, okay, 10 days, yeah? And there was you built a relationship with that person because they would see every picture you took.
Yeah.
There was an understanding that whatever picture you take, this man or woman is going to see.
But you know what? People who used to actually do this job, are like you always seeing like in old movies, not old movies, but at certain movies where they're in that red room, and it's a passion.
Yeah, it was a passion.
So there used to be a passion behind it, and maybe that's what it is. We technology lack the passion.
Well, I wouldn't say that, because because look how much beauty has gone into the designs of these machines and interfaces. It has its own beauty, it has its own design, therefore it had passion. But it's at what cost and what use does it really have?
But then, don't you think the passion is on the side of the maker, the constructor, the person that built?
I think it's on the side of the designer, the builder. Yeah,
there you go.
But
and
once
probably not on the side of the consumer.
No, that's just more,
Maybe a really sterile environment. Hence why in music, in order for you to have a sound like more like analog and the old days, and not digitalized and very sterile, you need to do a lot of work for that to happen.
To get that back.
You're on the consumer side, because now you got a product. Yes, this product's giving you this and that, but you got to make a whole bunch of work to get back the feel you used to have.
That's true.
Maybe you get it faster because maybe you wouldn't have access to certain studios and stuff like that. But then at the same time,
at what cost?
You're trying to get this time back.
I just feel like it was going to be a recipe for disaster anyway. It's like it brought up, as much as it brought up what was lacking, because I mean, phone boxes were good and everything, but mobile saved so much of going out.
Yeah, absolutely. But
putting the coins in and then standing up and waiting for a phone call. But then people were more reliable because they had to be, and you quickly knew who wasn't reliable and who was. It didn't take long.
But if you take even like our daughter today, how she communicate with her friends, there's no gauge on how much.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Like, I'm seeing like the messages.
Even if you
in a space of 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is the thing.
This and that, and I'm not against it. All I'm saying is, like, back in the day, you wouldn't have that ease of communication. So maybe the communication itself was more meaningful.
I believe that we used to be able to talk more. So if you wanted to talk to your friend on the phone, your vocabulary was, even if you both used to be like, yeah, in it. You still had to communicate verbally.
To put them coins in.
Yeah, you still had to communicate verbally.
You talk to that person as well.
Yeah, but now I've seen evidence of emoji conversations.
Yeah.
But it's not like, okay, I'm only, because it's like you can sit there and limit the time that your child spends on the screen.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, of course.
But that's not going to limit the amount of communication they have.
No.
Because I was like, huh? Like, oh yeah, me and my friends, we're seeing who could send the most stickers to one another. 30 stickers came to that phone.
Yeah, listen, I mean,
in under 5 minutes.
I guess they're things, I mean.
I'm not knocking it now, because every generation has their thing in it.
I guess, like you said, every generation has their thing.
But that doesn't mean that the thing that generation has is good for that generation.
No, I don't think it is.
And I think that people focus in too much on, this is bad for the kids, and we're all going through this right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what age you are. If you're alive and you're around in this time here, you're gonna experience this in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It's not just for kids. It's not just for grown people going through this.
Well, is it fair to say that basically technology has made, generally speaking, people unhappier?
I would say it has, only because of the ease does not make things less hard.
And do you think only a few really benefit from it?
Yeah.
Truly benefit from it?
Financially, but I don't even know if they're happy. How can you be when everyone else around you is so unhappy?
Yeah, it's true, It's probably just financially.
Because living in a world that is suffering in this way, and you're the only one happy, so to speak, it is tragic.
So what? That got me thinking then, what does it mean to be humans then? In a world of technology like this, what is our place? Like, how do you feel about being humans? What makes you a human? So how do you feel like even the technology contribute to in you feeling more human? Or do you sometimes feel a bit like
bionic,
robotized? By it, and your memories as well. Like,
my memory's been shot to pieces.
How do you feel about it? Because with the ed that we have so much ed.
My memory's been shot to pieces since I got my Nokia ages ago. The little one I met you with.
Yeah, I remember
because that was the first one that could store like 30 numbers.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll never remember another number again.
Is that a thing of the past to remember someone's number?
It shouldn't be, but I think it is. And unfortunately, I think that it's something that I want to reacquire. I do know your number, and I do know my parents' number, and I don't know my own number or anybody else's.
Well, you don't call yourself, so...
Right? But if ever I had to, because someone else had my phone, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. And I was like, I should at least try to train myself to remember, because back in the day, I used to know my grandma's number, my auntie's number, and I guess it was out of necessity. So then I'm like, if our capacity for learning, for adapting, for being better is out of necessity, then maybe we need to take some of these crutches away.
So do you think that a part of our brain has left into the machine?
I think it hasn't left, it's just stayed dormant, waiting to be awakened again.
Yeah, of course, it hasn't left, but I mean, if the machine is here to remember for you, therefore she's almost the memory part of your brain, like she's like, what you need.
I didn't look at it like that, but yeah, I guess she is your brain.
If you could take it and then put it in your brain instead of that part that don't work anymore, or don't work as well. I mean,
if you've ever dropped your phone or broke your phone, lost your phone, or damaged your phone to the point where you've lost your phone book, you realize how quickly that you've been absolutely reckless.
Yeah.
With the information that you have. Not being able to record one number or two numbers, or let's say 5 numbers out of all of the numbers in your phone book, and then you lose that phone book, you lose your mind.
Yeah, that's true.
You've lost your mind. And everyone's like, no, don't worry, because you've got a backup now. But what if that backup's not there? It wouldn't be the first time that it's not there.
But it's like the passwords.
Yeah.
You don't need to remember any.
Until you need to remember it.
Until you need to remember it. But when that ever happened?
Sometimes it does. Like, when you're at the supermarket and you've got to punch in your code. And you're like, oh gosh, what's the code for this one? Yeah.
Well, I guess if you're someone actually uses the smartphone to pay everything, like everywhere you go, and then because I believe we made it our business to not use our smartphone in that manner, to not go around and then use it for everything. Where you can bid for everything and do anything you want with it. Because I believe that fundamentally we thinking that this is too much to give.
Yeah.
Too much to give away.
Yeah.
And do you trust the cloud as well?
No. Seen enough naked pictures of celebrities to know that I don't trust the cloud.
You don't have to put naked pictures up there though.
It's not about that. They've put naked pictures in their personal personal cloud.
But maybe it's a lack of knowledge of what the cloud does.
But it's not actually.
Because sometimes some applications they're asking it asks basically, do you want to allow it to manage your
storage,
your photos and all of that, and have access to your library or whatever. And maybe well, some of them deliberately uploaded it there.
They uploaded it to the cloud because the cloud hadn't gone public yet.
They were doing it.
No, some people they did, but the cloud was supposed to be this safe place. Yeah. They called it a cloud. That's like the most unaggressive thing in the world is a cloud.
It's soft.
It was soft. It was fluffy and much of a sunny day.
Right.
In itself, it was all good.
Yeah,
it was up in the sky. Nobody can touch it. Perfect name. I don't know who came up with that. Kudos.
Yeah.
The cloud.
Listen, they work on those titles. Trust me.
Listen.
All them keywords,
right? But but what they didn't think about is the security of the cloud. And sometimes the cloud is a storm cloud, and it rains, and it's gonna leak everybody's information out, just terribly.
That's absolutely crazy.
And I just thought to myself, ooh, and because there's nothing in line or in place for the area of revenge porn.
Yeah.
Everybody just got away with a sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In place, yeah.
You saw my titties for free. What do you mean sorry?
It's more, who the hell you think you are?
Sorry's not going to cut it all the time. And
what did you think you were doing?
They just made a mistake.
That's not a mistake.
I think even if it was a mistake...
This is not a mistake.
The thing is, even if it was a mistake, some mistakes are still egregious.
What do you mean? It's not a mistake. This look what it takes to do it. It's not a mistake. This is a voluntary action.
It was hacked.
Yeah.
It was hacked. This is true. But all I'm saying from the company's point of view, at very least, it's a break of contract.
No, I'm talking about the revenge porn.
I'm talking about... Yeah, of course. Porn. I'm not saying about... No. You got me wrong. I was talking about the leak.
Yeah, okay.
Of the cloud.
Yeah, well then I don't know if it's a mistake. You must have known. We all know there's hackers. And even though you told those people, yeah, but what about the hackers? No, it's secure. And that's the answer. Even the bank is telling you it's safe, it's secure. Just don't give your PIN to no one. Okay?
It's
sure?
That simple.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? So they know.
Yeah.
They know, but collateral damage.
That's because really there's no policy in place.
Yeah. Because who are you going to sue?
There's no policy in place to actually... I mean, people are getting away with apologies nowadays.
It's like an insurance.
I know that we have wrecked so many people's lives, and for that...
We're sorry.
I apologise.
Yeah.
We are sorry. Oh, it's that easy now.
That's what my point is like,
Oh, from when it's that easy, what are we expecting but unhappiness?
This is an ongoing mentality anyway, because even the insurance now, because there's so much disaster. Now they're like, we don't cover for that. Oh, nor for this. So we live in a world where it's like
you don't have to.
Actually, got me thinking about that software company that we bought our music software from. Yeah. You buy some things,
and they don't have to be accountable. It's the lack of accountability.
Yeah, that's
it's the culture of the lack of accountability.
Well, this is what free technology.
But I think that's what's upsetting people. I think that's what's making people unhappy.
Yeah,
because
I think so.
you don't have to, with the lack of accountability from the government, the companies, the consumers, the creators, everybody.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get a part of society who accepts full accountability when there's another part of society who doesn't accept any accountability.
No, this is it. You hit the nail on the head, because it is that, and it's what bothers me a lot, the lack of accountability.
But then it's permeated down through the big wigs, through everybody, down to the consumer, to the point where now we're like, it's not my fault that there's plastic in the thing. It goes like that. It's not my fault.
True.
Well, they should do that. well, it's not my fault because, and if it's not anybody's fault, then
whose fault is it?
It's everybody's fault.
Yeah, and they do act in that manner.
Yeah, and it's contagious, and now everyone's on that. Oh, it's not. Well, what am I supposed to do about it? What can I do about it?
It's true.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, it's left everybody in a place where they can't get answers for the things that need to be answered, and they can't get justice for the things that needs to be rectified.
Yeah.
And then they're angry.
Maybe.
And that makes them unhappy because nobody is accountable. So that means no one's to blame, and no one has to get any. No one has to take responsibility.
But then ultimately, the government are the, the people that work for the government directly and make decisions on people, and they have to be responsible because they're supposed to work for us and they're supposed to regulate all of this.
Unfortunately, they're people too, and they're as subjected to all of the antics that we are.
But
they're
then you're
not
employed by the taxpayers' money, so from the time you're employed
definitely,
by the
and they
money,
should be held to a higher account.
Yeah,
most
right.
definitely should be held accountable. Most definitely should be in a position where they could be stronger. But who is stronger than an iPhone? Who is stronger than a smartphone? Who is stronger than a microwave? Who is stronger than DM?
Yeah,
and
it's always
who now you could go and go online and see any Senate committee, and there's going to be someone in there in the middle of some official stuff on their phone.
True. Yeah,
they're just as hooked up as we are.
Yeah,
they're just as weak and decrepit about the situation as we are.
They hide a lot behind the long-term effect, i.e., we don't know the long-term effect and it's unproven. So that
therefore we should do it.
You cannot prove there is bad long-term effect, and though sometimes it's been proven, but it's been denied like crazy, and they rest on that a lot.
I think so, but the thing is, I think it's going to take a conscious awakening to say, okay, seeing as this, if this is no one's fault, then I guess it's mine. Which means that you're going to have to take personal responsibility for the way you feel.
And consume differently, maybe change
and say to yourself,
habits.
okay, what part of this is making me feel this way? It's like I stepped away from social media.
Yeah.
Because it was like, one day I was just like, you're not the boss of me.
Yeah.
You're not the boss of me. Why am I running up and down after you? You know when you get to the point where you're thinking you're running up and down after somebody, and I'm like, I know you're an app, but I'm not going to run up and down for you. I don't even get paid by you.
Is it a claim back of your humanity?
Yeah.
Because
as close as you can see it like that today.
Taking responsibility, even though you're probably not the biggest player in it.
Come on. I'm nobody.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm nobody in the big grand scheme of things.
But I'm generally speaking, I'm just saying that, because maybe other people will play a big part in it. They've got different lives. But I'm just saying, as an individual doing this, that maybe, you're claiming back your humanity and saying to yourself, you know what? There's something wrong here, and I'm going to stop this, or I'm not going to do that. Because there was a documentary on Netflix about how some of those guys realized that, listen, this long-term effect, we can actually see already the aftermath
the
of all
social
this
dilemma.
technology, the social dilemma. Yeah,
it was fascinating in the facts that I just sat there and I said, didn't I say this? Didn't I say this? That's exactly what I was saying. I was like, that's exactly what I was saying. I get really hype in front of the TV, but I'm excitable as it is anyway. But I was like, but what was stuck out to me is that with hindsight now, they saw that there were only a few people from the same part of the world and the same gender.
Yeah, background.
With same background.
Or similar background.
On the same job you know, same job format, same goals in life,
same profile, basically.
Same profile, deciding something that would potentially affect billions.
Yeah.
But you ain't got to look back in history that far to realize when a small amount of people decide the fate of billions, it's usually a disaster piece. And now you sit here surprised. What were you learning in school?
It wasn't psychology.
It wasn't common sense.
No common sense.
And this is where I said they need the common sense committee to come in and say,
yeah,
that's not going to work.
Yeah.
And
true.
this is why I'm like, you need people from all walks of life to chime in on industries they know nothing about. You know why? Because they've got some hindsight, foresight, some step back to be able to say, that's not going to work. Or this is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And where everyone else would be like, why? Why would that be a problem?
True,
Somebody else could be like, because when you go toilet, you're going to drop it in the toilet. They're like, you know, something as little as that.
You're going to need some water.
Yeah. They're like, why am I going to need water? It's like the phone case. The phone case. Do you remember? No one had phone cases at the beginning.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was like, phone case? What do you need a phone case? Nah, they're just trying to sell you these extra things just so that they already got the phone out. You know, they're trying to get extra things, and everyone now has a phone case.
Well, when the smartphone came in.
When the smartphone came out, you quickly realised you needed the phone case. It was like
over.
But I'm telling you now, there was someone in one part of the world that said, yeah, but I've been said that.
Yeah. True.
And I just feel like now it's got to the point where it's so bad, we're just going to have to stand back and have an individual look at ourselves and say, if this and this doesn't make me happy, then I'm going to take it out of my life as far as technology is concerned.
There's a couple of documentary. We actually can put the link below, and they're really interesting.
The Social Dilemma, if you haven't watched it already, it's on Netflix.
That's really important.
It was an eye-opener, and it was, you know, constructed by people who actually worked in there, played big major roles in the tech industry, and have now, with hindsight and seeing the fallout of it, decided that they need to take more of an ethical stance towards technology. And that's what it is. It does need to be a little bit more humane. We have to have a humane approach to it, because it's literally killing people. It's literally killing their spirits. It's killing their true creativity. It's killing their industries. It is zapping their memories. Sufferer here. It's everything. It's the little things we used to be good at, we're not good at anymore.
Yeah.
Talking to people, generally coming in and just saying good morning to people, general decency.
Yeah, and also
being aware in these streets.
And imagine a world where you only equate to what you witness, with
on a screen,
with like and dislike.
Yeah,
that's
you're
primitive.
living in a bubble, because now
it's not realistic.
Everything that comes to your phone is going to be based off of what you've previously liked or watched, not based off of anything else in the world than what you already like.
It's like,
That means you're not going to see anything contrary to your belief ever, which is going to reinforce n'importe quoi.
Do you know what's funny? Because must have been on Facebook. That was before I deleted my account.
I bet you the account's still up. I bet you.
Probably, but I remember
they don't like deleting no accounts.
Facebook, and I remember seeing in the feed, like the timeline, this video about someone's funeral and dying, and the option was like or dislike, and I was like, that's not appropriate. It's not even like, you don't like a funeral, I don't dislike a funeral. And I'm like,
yeah,
It's like
this is clearly ran by robots. This is clearly ran by people who have limited emotional expressions.
Exactly.
That's what it gave me.
Yeah.
And even if there are people behind this, it's as if have got blinkers on right now and can't see that they need to humanize this, because there's no way you could press like or dislike on a funeral.
And it was like a moving story and everything, and I'm like, wow, someone actually constructed something for it. I was like, wow, yeah, that's a really moving story. But there's no way I press like on that. No, I'm not even the type of person to press like and dislike. But when I saw that, I was like, it's not weird.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that is just scratching the surface of the fallout of it.
Yeah.
There's screen addiction, there's notification addiction, there is the fear of missing out, there is the anxiety attached. That's why I left social media. It was I just felt like I had a part-time job I didn't know I applied for.
What?
I was like,
job?
Yeah, like you ain't the boss of me.
That's voluntary work. Where was they working for a charity?
Yeah. Because it was like, at what cause?
Charity, you get gratification.
At what cause? But then apparently you do get gratifications depending on how many likes you
really?
get.
Tell us anything about it.
Yeah, which is why people feel really depressed when they don't get the likes, because they're doing all this voluntary work without any gratification.
Yeah, I guess.
Oop. So.
Anyway,
has it made us happier? Are people happier in this technological age?
You know what? I don't think so, but perhaps in the other side of the world or somewhere else, maybe it did. Maybe it does.
I'm gonna go for no.
I don't think so.
I don't remember. I've you know what? I feel like over the years, the courses of my life, I've seen and heard of many wars, quite a few wars, quite a few natural disasters, quite a few things, but there's something really fractured about right now.
There is.
That wasn't there before like this.
And then even down to, the pollution as well. That's directly linked to
fractured
to technologies as a whole. It's not just online. It's
permeated through everything. Yeah. Just fractured. I wouldn't go as far as to say broken, but fractured in a way I haven't seen before. And that, I believe, is what the root cause of everyone's unhappiness is.
I do feel right now it's a bit like the wild, wild west when it comes to technologies, like a lawless
land.
Yeah, like it's where it's supposed to be regulated.
And it's regulated by the gun and the sheriff and the shootout.
Exactly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, right, okay, I see what's going on there. Type of thing.
I feel like we're gonna just have to take a step back and rethink it. There's so much things of this technology that we have to keep. It's not all bad. It really isn't all bad.
Yeah, it's not about getting rid of it. It's actually
regulating it,
managing it, and being able to stop. Like when someone has controls everything, one person cannot decide for the rest of the population. It's unrealistic.
It's reckless.
It's reckless, yeah.
It's reckless. Bound to be a problem. To be a problem. It's bound for it.
It has to be a.
Yeah.
Hey.
But I think that's it for today. Leave your comments down in the comments section. Go on to nileochi.com and continue the conversation. And until next time, take care of yourselves, your spirits, and your minds. Till next time.
Ciao.
Ciao.